Nobody wants me around, you know? I mean, the time I asked my old man, how can I get my kite in the air? He told me to run off a cliff. Once on my birthday, he gave me a dartboard with automatic return. Well, last week I donated blood. The family thanked me for saving their dog's life. My wife, she's no better than the rest of them. I told them when I die, I want to be cremated. She's planning a barbecue. With my wife, I got no sex life either. Outside my bedroom window, they caught a peeping Tom sleeping. When she makes love to me, there's always a reason for it. One night she used me to time an egg. I'll tell you something else, too. I don't like the nickname she gave me either. Microwave. I tell you, I'm all right now. Last week I was in rough shape, though, you know. My wife's father, he moved in with us. Has an electronic pacemaker. Every time he sneezes, the garage door opens. I saw my dentist, too, last week, another beauty. I said to him, Doc, look at my teeth. They're all getting yellow. He told me to wear a brown necktie. And girls, they don't like my looks either. Well, the other day, a girl was driving a one-way street. I yelled down one way. She yelled back, no way. Nobody wants me around.
Good morning. It's Friday, Fight Song Friday, December the 19th, and this is The True Conservative. Welcome to all the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there. I'm Ron, your host, and the only true conservative in the United States today. So today, after the Serenity Prayer and the patriotic song of the day, we will have Varney and Company, motivation, meditation, and the collapse of parenting. All that and more when I get back. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I should not change, the courage to change the things I should, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Thank you. Now, Varney and Company.
Morning, Maria. Good morning, everyone. You know, this program is all about politics and money, but our lead story this morning is a breakthrough in the murders of students at Brown and the professor at MIT. The police have a suspect who is linked to both cases. The suspect is dead, took his own life. He's a 48-year-old man, a Portuguese national who came to America on a diversity visa. We expect developments throughout the show. To the markets, modest gains Thursday, something of a mixed picture this morning. The Dow down about 30, but the S&P up a fraction, the Nasdaq up 54. Bitcoin coming in at $88,000. Where are we now? 87.9 to be precise. At the 10-year Treasury yield, that's at 4.16, moving up. The 2-year Treasury, 3.50%, right at 3.5%. Oil, $55 a barrel, 56.58. But look at this. Gas keeps on coming down. Regular now averages $2.88, down 21 cents in a month. Watch the president talk about that when he visits the battleground state of North Carolina today. He's talking affordability. Cheap gas makes life more affordable. But now look at Oklahoma. The average is all the way down to $2.33 a gallon. That's Oklahoma. On the show today, the president loosens the federal restrictions on marijuana. He's getting pushback from some Republicans. They don't like the president using weed to attract young voters. The Minnesota fraud case just got much bigger. It was first reported as $1 billion. Now it is $9 billion stolen since 2018. We're going to ask how Governor Tim Walz can expect to be elected to a third term when a scandal of this magnitude arrived on his watch. New details on the FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago. The FBI didn't want to do it. They had a shaky search warrant, but the Justice Department insisted, do the raid. The Biden team wanted to humiliate the former president. It's backfired. It is Friday, December 19th, 2025. Varney and Company is about to begin.
And that was Varney and Company, Nonprofit News Now. Back in a minute.
There's a kind of instinct that you need to be on the lookout for, and this one is a liar. This one is a saboteur. This one is a backbiter. This is the instinct that says, you've had enough. You've given it your best shot. You can stand down. You can back off. This is the instinct that says, it's okay to stop. It's okay to settle. It's okay to give up. You can rest now. That's the instinct, that's a defense mechanism. It wants to give you an out. And that is the instinct you need to fight. You need to push back, to smash into the ground.
Don't negotiate with weakness. You're in charge.
Get up. Go to class. Get up. Do your homework. You wake up earlier than people. You stay later than people. You stay humble. You work harder than anyone when no one's there. I guarantee someone that feels bad about themselves soon will label you as he's built different. He's built different should be your label because people feel bad about themselves.
Your life is exactly what you wanted. Because every day, you've had choices to make. You're responsible and credible for every single choice. You've made the choices.
And what I need you to do for me is why are you here and then take ownership of why you're here. So you control you. We don't have forever. Let's not act like it. We're all going to die. And so I don't act like I'm going to live forever. So every opportunity I get, I murder it. Process driven. I love it. I'm about that life. I get up every morning at 3 o'clock. When I want to get up, when I don't. When I feel like it and I don't feel like why? Because I'm process driven. I'm not feelings driven. Champions are not feeling driven. Champions don't get up when they want to. And if we're going to be champions, process driven. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done.
You know what I hear? I hear the clock ticking. Time waits for no man. Life goes by, and it goes by quick. Don't waste those years. Don't waste them. Live them. Back off? Negative. Not happening. In fact, I'm stepping it up. No complacency. No complacency. No backing off. No slack whatsoever. Bring it. Fight. Fight that ticking clock with everything you got. And the earlier you get in the game and get on track, the better life you're gonna have. Healthier, wealthier, stronger, smarter, better. Go through the motions. I don't really want to work out. I work out. Don't really want to get up and get out of bed. I get up and get out of bed. Don't give in to the immediate gratification that is whispering in your ear. The desire to take the path of least resistance, the downhill path, the easy path. Shut that down. Do not listen to that little voice. Instead, go through the motions. Lift the weights, sprint the hill, get out of bed, get things done. And by simply going through the motions, you stayed on the righteous path, the disciplined path, which is right where you know that you belong.
When you grind on Monday, and you grind on Tuesday, and you grind on Wednesday, and you chill on Thursday, and you chill on Friday, and they grind on Thursday, and they grind on Friday, sooner or later they're gonna catch you. I told every kid in America that tell me they coming for me, you gonna work hard for it. Because I'm gonna find out what the benchmarks are, I'm gonna reach the benchmarks, and I'm gonna excel that thing. You will not outwork me. I'm going to grind. I'm going to fight. I'm going to work. I'm going to press toward. I'm going to do everything in my power every single day to become a victor and not a victim. This is the part where life demands that you make a vow, come hell or high water, that you're willing to pay the price, where you earn your spot with effort, with sweat, with blood, with tears. It's time to test your will, your endurance, your heart, to test your limits.
And that was a little bit of motivation. Back in a minute. Thank you, and now a little bit of meditation. And that was a little bit of meditation. Back in a minute. Thank you. Now, this is a clip of Victor Davis Hanson. It goes on for 17 minutes. He drones on and on and on. But I'm only going to play a minute or two of this just to give you an idea of what this is all about.
Governor Gavin Newsom's green energy agenda has spectacularly backfired, and the consequences are about to shake the entire American economy. It's not just the millions of residents abandoning his failing state. In a matter of weeks, California will face a completely self-inflicted disaster that one of the world's largest corporations saw coming from a mile away. They warned the feckless governor. They warned the equally incompetent legislature. And when nobody listened, this global giant packed up and left California for good. What we're about to witness is a tale of two Americas, a thriving red state economy leading the nation forward, and a crumbling blue state economy slowly disintegrating into dust. Chevron stands as one of the world's largest multinational energy corporations.
Okay, so he goes on about how rich they are and how influential they are to try and emphasize to everybody how important this is that Chevron's pulling out. Unfortunately, he knows But unfortunately, he is talking to no one. He is actually talking to nobody. Okay? The Republicans by this point have tuned out. And the Democrats, they can't be bothered to listen to it. So you have Republicans that are going to listen to him and say, I already know. I know that the blue states are crumbling and they're pooping in their pants and all that. I'm a Republican. I don't know why I should listen to this because I vote the right way at the right time for the right reason. So they tune out. The left tunes out because, you know what? I know this is going to shock you, but the left, the liberals in the state of California and around the country couldn't give a rat's ass about Chevron. As far as they're concerned, Chevron is hell, and the guy that runs it is the devil, and that they should go right back to where they came from. So they leave California, then all the liberals in the state of California are cheering. They're clinking their glasses, they're drinking champagne, they're toasting. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. So what we're left with here is Mr. Victor Davis Hanson, who's a professor at some elite university here in California, is an idiot. Not only that, but he drones. My God, put some voice inflection into this, if you will, to make it at least make it entertaining. If it's not going to have any informative value, make it entertaining. But anyways, nobody's listening to him. He's an idiot. He never stops and thinks. He knows somewhere in the back of his mind, his conscience is telling him, nobody's listening, Victor. Nobody's listening. Nobody's paying attention. If he would go ahead and do the smart thing and talk to the liberals, talk to those that would normally be cheering on the escape, if you will, of Chevron, and explain to them why it's bad for them. How does this hurt their plans for a perfect society? Okay. If he does that, he then becomes much more influential. Right now, nobody cares about what he has to say. The Los Angeles Times isn't calling him on the phone, begging him for an interview. The only time he gets an interview is from right-wing bloggers and right-wing podcasters. Nobody else wants to talk to him because they dismiss him as a right-wing kook, just like they did with Rush Limbaugh, just like they do with Sean Hannity, John Cobelt, and all the rest. And rightfully so, because these fools only talk to conservatives who have no power in this situation, especially in the state of California. There's nothing we conservatives can do about it. We vote the right way at the right time for the right reason, and that's it. That's all we can do. So you can whine and complain all you want to. I'm going to go make myself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay, so if the day that he gets smart is a day he's going to have influence. When he starts telling Democrats why they should ditch Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass as a starter and not vote for these people, then he starts to become influential. Then the Los Angeles Times will call him and say, let's have an interview. Then he's going to have Gavin Newsom sit down for an interview with him. And Karen Bass, for that matter. So again, he's got the same problem that all the other conservative or erstwhile conservative commentators have: stupidity. Back in a minute. Thank you. Now, Steve Inman.
Well, if you plan on jumping somebody because you're a coward and you can't do it by yourself, well, you better prepare for an ass whooping from hell, swinging for the fences, missing and nearly knocking himself out, and booyah, nice big right, and another big right lands, gets wobbly foot, a little twinkle toe action, tries to come in for seconds and ends up with a knuckle sandwich buffet, straight to the dome, and booyah, operating system is back up momentarily. Wobbly, jello-ass legs, getting back up to his feet, knees buckled like a newborn deer, and now he is back up shots, and it is nothing but a la carte shots, and a side of Hawaiian punch knocks him out in midair, and now taking a nap. Somebody call Mike Lindell, cover this guy up in Giza sheets, and call the coroner, and call it a night.
And that was Steve Inman. Back in a minute. Thank you. From Varney and Company. Varney was conducting some sort of an interview. It doesn't matter because the clip is from Ilhan Omar. And then I got a little retort for you.
Ilhan Omar is calling ICE operations state-sanctioned violence. Watch this again, please. Roll it.
Many in Minneapolis and certainly in Minnesota are experiencing a state-sanctioned violence. We're seeing people being stopped, dragged out of their cars, people detained for hours, many who are citizens, and it is really terrifying. But what we are also seeing is people showing just how resilient and united Minnesotans are in defending their neighbors.
Okay, so what she's doing is making arbitrary claims. What is she doing? Not what is she saying, what is she doing? She's making arbitrary claims. She backs none of this up. She has no witnesses. She has no evidence whatsoever to back up any of this, okay? So the way to push back on this kind of situation, if you go to work and you have an Ilhan Omar type, because the left, make no mistake, liberals are listening to her. She's going to go on, let's see, where was she being interviewed here? CNN. Gee, what a surprise. So they're watching CNN. She comes on and says all of her arbitrary claims. They're going to take those arbitrary claims to work with them, to work, to church, to the soccer field, and they're going to use them on conservatives and would-be conservatives. Oh, well, the government is conducting violence. That's an arbitrary claim. You provide no proof whatsoever. And so the easiest way to deal with it is simply deny it. Well, the government's engaged in violence. No, it isn't. Well, yes, people are being dragged out of the cars. No, they're not. Well, but and then they're being detained for hours and hours. No, they're not. See, now the person you're talking to is screwed because they got all their talking points from somebody on television. Now, and they assume when they come to you that you're just going to go ahead and take their word for it and continue the conversation as though whatever they're telling you is true. Okay, it's tantamount to a confession. Never concede. Never, ever concede. Back in a minute. Thank you. And now Stuart Varney's My Take, and he actually expresses some opinions for a change.
Maybe that's what we got. All right, folks, now this. On August the 8th, 2022, armed FBI agents arrived at the home of Donald and Melania Trump, Mar-a-Lago. It was a raid. They were looking for classified documents from Trump's first term. It was deliberate humiliation. For the first time ever, the home of a former president was searched by law enforcement looking for evidence of criminal activity. Turns out the FBI did not want to do it. Newly released emails showed they knew they didn't have probable cause for a search warrant, but the word came down from the Justice Department, right from the top, do the raid. The Biden team insisted. They wanted a prosecution. They wanted to humiliate. The FBI searched the former First Lady's underwear drawer. This reveals the depth of the hatred and contempt that Joe Biden felt for Donald Trump. You have to ask, just who is undermining democracy? The Russia hoax, the impeachment drive, the deliberate misuse of the law. He had to sit in court silent while the corrupt New York judiciary called him a low-life crook. None of it worked, and Trump staged an extraordinary political comeback. But it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Biden brought toxic politics into our lives. There were times when he couldn't hold back his contempt. It showed. That Mar-a-Lago raid set off a wave of prosecutions that failed, endless investigations, big legal fees, and a tainted Justice Department. What a waste. What a dive to the bottom from a failed presidency. Second hour of Varney just getting started.
And so there he does express some opinions at the very back end, kind of mild, but at least this time he did it. Back in a minute. Thank you, Alice Weidel.
Noch Personalressourcen hinterherzuschmeißen, wohl wissentlich, dass die Ukraine an dem folgenschwersten Anschlag auf eine deutsche Energieinfrastruktur Nord Stream 1 und 2 verantwortlich war, das haut ihm fast den Boden auf. Auch hier wurde Transparenz nie geschaffen. Deutschland hat gegen eine Aufklärung gestimmt, entgegen der Stimmen von China und Russland, wenn wir uns daran erinnern, und auch das ist hochgradig suspekt. Gott sei Dank haben wir den US-amerikanischen Präsidenten, der auch von der deutschen Politik als auch von den deutschen Medien jahrelang durch den Kakao gezogen wurde. Der Mann, der kann es, und ohne ihn wären Friedensverhandlungen überhaupt nicht möglich gewesen. Und das wäre ehrlich gesagt eine Aufgabe gewesen für Deutschland. Das haben wir immer gesagt. Seit 2022 sagen wir, Deutschlands Rolle in diesem schrecklichen Krieg ist, ihn so schnell wie möglich zu beenden, allein schon aus dem Eigeninteresse. Und das Zweite ist, sich als ehrlicher und neutraler Makler sich hinzustellen und eine Friedenslösung zu.
And that was Alice Weidel. Back in a minute. Thank you. Now a little bit of Bill Maher.
Less than 1 in 4 Democrats under 30 say they're proud to be an American. 54% say they're embarrassed by it. Embarrassed. Like America's your mom picking you up at school? You're embarrassed to be an American? Well, guess what? The feeling's mutual. Because you have no perspective. Is America perfect? No, of course not. No country is. But the U.S. is leagues ahead of the rest of the world on most of the progressive issues that are important to young people. America has 14 million women-owned businesses. 17% of black women are starting businesses, which is faster than white women or white men. Gay Americans are free to marry, and 49% of them own property. Yes, in America, gays buy buildings. In other places, they get thrown off them. Globalize the intifada is the catchphrase that's really catching on these days, as if worldwide suicide bombing and cosplaying Islamic revolutionaries is the answer to our problems. At an AOC Bernie Sanders rally in Idaho last month, someone threw a Palestinian flag over an American flag, and the crowd erupted in approval. What should have happened after that is one of the adults on stage should have told their young, loyal followers, this is not a symbol of freedom. This is.
And that was Bill Maher. Back in a minute. Thank you. And now, the collapse of parenting.
Work hard at college, get into med school. Work hard at med school, get into a good residency. Work hard in residency, get a good job at a good practice. Simple. The medical profession is a popular choice among college students, in part because the path to a good life seems clear at 17 years of age if you go that route. As a practicing physician, I can tell you that many of my medical colleagues never did the hard work of figuring out in childhood or adolescence the answers to the really important questions. Those questions are, who am I? What do I really want? What would make me happy? Those are not trivial questions. The great American psychologist, Dr. Abraham Maslow, observed that many adults never answer those questions. Maslow believed that those adults are often miserable because they are working hard at jobs they now hate in pursuit of goals that are no longer meaningful to them. I have seen some such adults among my own physician colleagues. I know a man who is a successful surgeon. He earns north of $800,000 a year, but he is wretched. I'm a slave, he told me. I'm working 80 hours a week at a job I just can't stand anymore. But I don't have a choice. I've got a big mortgage on a big house. I've got a wife who likes to fly first class to Europe. I've got 3 kids in private school. I don't have any other options. No other way of earning this kind of money. And besides, I honestly don't know what else I'd really like to do. Mostly I just wish I could retire and live at the beach. That man is right. He is a slave. Life is precious. Each minute is a priceless gift. No amount of money can reclaim lost time. If you are wasting your time on work you don't enjoy in pursuit of goals which are no longer meaningful to you, you may come to be resentful about the time you are losing. If you are a physician, you may come to resent your patients. I have learned to recognize such physicians, and I try to steer my patients away from them. But the straight arrow path of the physician, from high school to college to med school to residency to high-paying job, is now a rare option. According to some labor force experts, in the 21st century, most Americans will bounce from one job to another, even from one career to another, several times throughout their life. And that's likely to become even more true as artificial intelligence makes inroads into fields such as computer coding, which just a few years ago were marketed to high school kids as a sure thing. That sort of life, that bouncing from job to job life, which many of our children will lead, demands a skill set very different from the skill set which works well in school. Your kids will have to be willing to try different things, to go in different directions, in order to find their niche, their calling, their vocation. And their niche, calling, vocation may change over time. If you and your kid are playing by the middle-class script, then school isn't preparing your kid for real life. Instead, school may be making your kid less prepared for real life by pushing your kid to be unduly cautious and risk-averse. The rules for success in life are different from the rules for getting admitted to a top college. The willingness to fail is one of the keys to success in real life, as I said earlier. To be a top student, you need to get A's all the time, or at least most of the time. School and the values inculcated at many schools today, both public and private, reinforces a reluctance to take risk, a reluctance to fail. Your job as a parent is not to reinforce the middle-class script, but to challenge it. Empower your daughter or your son to take risks and congratulate them when they fail, because failure builds humility. And the humility born of failure can build growth and wisdom and an openness to new things in a way that success almost never can. Steve Jobs said something similar in his 2005 commencement speech at Stanford. I didn't see it then, but it turned out that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, less sure about everything. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. Over the past 23 years, as I visited more than 500 schools, I've been trying to understand what kids need and how schools help or don't help. I have often been disappointed. Many schools I have visited, especially in the United States, embrace and broadcast the middle-class script. As a result, those schools often make kids more fragile rather than less. But there are some schools which have broken free of that script. One of those schools is Shore, the Australian school I mentioned earlier. Robert Grant, 6th headmaster at Shore, was fond of making one particular remark to the parents of students newly enrolled at the school. he liked to say, "I hope your child will be severely disappointed during his time at this school." The parents were often confused. Why would the headmaster wish for my child to be severely disappointed? Mr. Grant would explain that if a student does not experience real disappointment at school, then he will be unprepared for disappointment when it comes in real life. And disappointment will come. Dreams will be crushed. Loved ones will die. Relationships will end. The right education, alongside the right kind of upbringing, should prepare your son or your daughter to handle disappointment and failure, to slip loose of a dream when the dream is over, to move to another field of endeavor with no loss of enthusiasm. A few schools teach this explicitly and well, but only a few. Some of the high schools, which are regarded as the best because many of their graduates attend highly ranked colleges, don't even attempt to teach these skills, the skills needed for success in life. Those schools are too busy preparing their students to get the best grades and the best test scores. Robert Bly was a poet and philosopher. Dr. Marion Woodman was a psychoanalyst. Together they wrote a little-noticed book called The Maiden King, about how girls become women and boys become men. They observed that many children and teens have the feeling that something marvelous is going to happen. Or, as the protagonist of Diary of a Wimpy Kid puts it, "I'll be famous one day, but for now, I'm stuck in middle school with a bunch of morons." Then, sometime later, navigating through adolescence, the teenager is hit with the awareness that something marvelous is not going to happen. That's the moment of the great disappointment. In our culture, that moment is sometimes postponed until young adulthood, when the 20-something finally realizes that she isn't ever going to compete in the Olympics or have 1 million followers on TikTok or earn millions off her YouTube channel. Adolescence should be the time when kids learn about their own limits. In a world that contains nearly 8 billion people, 99.99% of us are going to have to get used to the idea that we are not anybody special. Becoming a mature adult means reconciling yourself to the fact that you're not going to be a movie star, you're not going to be on the cover of People magazine, you're not going to be famous. Our culture today does a terrible job of preparing kids for this moment and helping them make the transition to mature adulthood. On the contrary, kids are immersed in stories of ordinary kids just like them who rocketed to fame and fortune with minimal effort. At age 15, Charlie D'Amelio started posting videos of herself dancing on TikTok. 2 years later, she was earning more than $17 million a year from TikTok, where she now has over 150 million followers and has earned more than 11 billion likes. But when you watch her TikTok videos, your first reaction is likely to be, "I don't get it. What's all the fuss about? She's not that special." One girl I know watched some of Charlie D'Amelio's TikTok videos and thought, "I can do that. I can do better than that. I'm a better dancer. Everybody says so." The girl I know went all in on making the perfect TikTok video. And it was the perfect TikTok video. Funny, well executed, catchy music. 2 weeks after she posted it, she had 7 likes.
So that was The Collapse of Parenting, How We Hurt Our Kids When We Treat Them Like Grown-Ups by Leonard Sachs, MD, PhD. Back in a minute. Thank you. This is Ron, your host, the only true conservative in the United States today, bidding adios to all the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there, and reminding you that you're not neutral and that the government has no rights.